Hello, welcome to another TSN Sandbox guide. In this guide I'm going to go through how to access the system maps. It allows you to be able to find your way around the TSN Sandbox. It actually covers quite a lot of different sector maps that you can move through. It'll allow you to navigate the different systems and see those systems in more detail. I've come here first to terrastellarnavy.net. This is the TSNRP community website. It's also where you can access the system maps. So in the navigation menu here, we've got system maps at the top. If I click on that, it redirects you to another website that's run by one of our officers in the TSN, one of our members, and it will direct you to the actual maps. We call them Stellar Cartography maps. So you can see the first thing that you come across is this large map. It's the Lower Arc map, and it's created from lots of different systems that are linked together. Just a couple of things to go through on this page then. On the top left are 3 buttons. Those buttons allow you to access different parts of it. Intel is a special password protected area just for our TSN command officers, so we can put maps on there without our own officers seeing them, so you won't have access to that. The button here, view upper arc, you can see we're currently on the lower arc map. If I click on that, it cycles to the next map, which is of the upper arc. So you can see this is the most complete arc. It's where we actually started in Promethean system. The very first iteration of the Sandbox had a couple of sectors in Promethean system and a link across into the Corona system. There's also systems, which provides a drop down menu, and it names all the systems within the Sandbox that we have access to. I'll go through those shortly. In the bottom left corner of the map, you can see there's a key. There's blue systems are USFP systems, red systems are the hostile systems, so those usually belong to Hegemony. Green systems are classified as neutral systems, so there's usually different factions can live there. You can see one of the factions in the Sandbox we call the Hjorden, and they can live in this sector. The same with like expanding around into the other sectors if you wanted. There's also these purple systems that we call the Badlands, where there's no particular race that lives there, or it's got particular challenges with it. So the blue links between the systems here indicate jump gate links. So if you've seen some of my other videos, you might already be aware of jump gates. If not, they are points on a map, and if player ships move to that point and then activate that jump gate, it will take them to the next system and they'll be able to fly around the system. Let's take a closer look at the Promethean system. This is the home system of the 4th Light Division. So to go to that system, I can click on the Systems tab, I can navigate through alphabetically and find Promethean, and then I can click on that tab there and it will open the Promethean system. As you can see, it's made up of 12 different sectors, so each one corresponds to a sector map that you can generate. If you have a look at the screen that I've just put up here, when you're activating the TSN Sandbox, you can see how you've got the various Sandbox buttons. So by clicking on one of those, it corresponds to Sector 1 map. By clicking on Sector 7, for example, it corresponds to Sector 7 map. Each of these can be zoomed in on. So if I click on Sector 7, for example, it will zoom in on that specific map, and it will bring up that map so you can see what's in there. There's the couple of command bases that corresponds to the actual bases on the within the TSN Sandbox itself. To go back to the whole system, on the top right here, I can click to system. This box on the right hand side is an information box. It's got all the key details about the system, primarily about the bases. So you can see, for example, we've got Eaton base, which is in Sector 6. There are bases like this industrial station here, 001 in Sector 2. And I can go and I can click on Sector 2, and you'll see when we zoom in to that area. It shows the industrial base 001. The information also changes, so it only applies to this actual sector that you're in. So there's a couple of weapons platforms. There's also this black hole which isn't indicated on this. The gate section just shows nothing because there are no gates in this section. Okay, down here at the bottom there's a stations tab. It will show you all the different stations. There's the gates tab, so when you click on that it switches and it shows you all the different gates and gives you the option to jump through those gates to that particular sector. There's also other, so any other information like weapons platforms and shipyards. It's mainly the neutrals that are in there are all displayed here. Gives you a quick idea of where things are, so if you need to find something in particular, or you've got your players and they want to find something in particular, like they need to get to shipyard 5 for a refit, they can go to Promethean system, they can look at other, find shipyard 5 and find that it's in sector 7. I'll actually jump to a system where sector where there is a gate. So here you can see we've got the Cerberus gate. This is the location of the Cerberus gate. It's marked by a generic mesh, and it's an actual gate mesh that we added to the TSM mod. You also have a new button that shows you which sector that links to. So it will link to Cerberus sector 4. By clicking on that, it's going to follow that jump link across to Cerberus sector 4 and show you where the exit to the Promethean gate is, and then obviously you can zoom out to the system, and now we're in the Cerberus system. If I click on this button here, we can see that link. So that was the link from Promethean here to the Cerberus system here. You'll have noticed that when I click on a map and it zooms into that map, there's some new buttons appear in the bottom right hand corner. These buttons allow you to scroll through the system itself without having to zoom out again. So the little map in the center shows which sector you're actually in. So being in the Cerberus system, we have sectors 1 through 8 arranged in this 2x4 grid. We're currently in sector 3. Clicking on the left arrow will take me one sector to the left, which will swap it to sector 2. Clicking the down arrow will take me one sector down, so in this instance it will switch to sector 6, and then clicking to the right will swap me over to sector 8. By using these arrows you can just navigate around. You can also follow the course that ships are taking. So for example, if they've started off and they've just come through the Promethean gate and then they're heading across to sector 3, rather than having to zoom out and click on sector 3, they can click the sector 3 arrow and it will take them across to sector 3. So your science officer or you as game master can be following along that navigation as they go. Okay, just one more thing. Having a look at this lower arc map, you can see there are quite a number of different systems. Not every single one is actually in the TSN Sandbox. A lot are just there to kind of have names to drive the story forward. So you could have, for example, enemies from this Ibron system come into the summary system. We keep adding more as we go along. There are quite a number of the USFP systems finished. If you want to explore these different maps, you'll find that some are just left blank. So for example, if I find one of them that isn't currently in the sandbox, if you come to it and it's blank, it just means that we've not had the opportunity yet to upload the images, or we've not actually created it in the sandbox. You'll know which ones are available in the sandbox because there's the drop down menus at the beginning of the activation, like I showed in a previous video, and if it's not in there, then it's not actually available in the sandbox. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button and look out for more video guides.